What's up, guys? My name is TechnoTuner, and today I'm bringing to you my Red Rose Genesis deck profile. While this deck has a lot of capabilities of going far and wide with the Synchro package, it has also the capability of playing with Adventure, Therion, or other plant spam archetypes, and able to further your plays and get through further issues that you can see normally. This deck still has a lot of capability to further play through a lot of different things, and has the capability of not just burning your opponent for 600 life points every time they activate a monster effect, but they also have the ability of nuking their board, banishing their graveyard, or setting up some really cool negates. With this deck, you have a lot of combos, and you usually end on basically about the same board. But I wanted to at least go over the deck profile with you guys today, and show you and go over the cards that I'm playing. So let's go ahead and hop around into the main deck. For the main deck, we're playing 3 Red Rose Dragon. This card is very beneficial for the deck because it is technically a 1-card starter, technically a 2-card if you think about it in a long way, because if this card is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, you can special summon 1 Rose Dragon monster from your hand or deck except Red Rose Dragon. Then if it was sent for the synchro summon of a Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster, you can also add 1 Frozen Rose or 1 Blooming of the Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Red Rose Dragon once per turn. So when it's sent for the synchro summon of, say, a Bramble Rose Dragon, you basically get to add a Rose Dragon, so White Rose or Rocks Rose, along with the Blooming of the Darkest or a Frozen Rose. So you're getting 2 cards off of just 1. Next, I do play 3 Rocks Rose. I don't know why I put those over there. Rocks Rose is also another main staple of the deck because if this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 card that mentions Black Rose Dragon from your deck to your hand, except Rocks Rose Dragon. While this card is in your graveyard, if a face-up Rose Dragon monster or monsters or plant synchro monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect from your opponent, you can add this card to your hand. So basically, if your opponent dark holes you, Raigekis basically destroys your plant or Black Rose Dragon or Black Rose monster that's a synchro monster, you're able to add this card back to hand and recycle it pretty easily. While yes, you are, I'm just now realizing this, unable to really special summon Rock Rose off of Red Rose effect because it specifies Rose Dragon, not something like that. The rose has to be separated, I believe, to summon it. Feel free to correct me if I am wrong, but either way, that's the way you could usually go about it. Next, I do play 2 White Rose, honestly thinking about upping it to 3, because the revival capabilities of this card is really insane, because when this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard except White Rose Dragon. You can only use each of these effects of White Rose Dragon once per turn. If you control a Dragon Tuner or a Plant Tuner, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's a free special summon if you control one of the Rose Dragons. Or, if this card is sent to the graveyard synchro material, you can send 1 level 4 or higher plant monster from your deck to the graveyard, which can further help. The other thing that I will mention as well is that we're also playing a few of the new Rose Dragon cards that were released in Doom. Some of the cards that I like to see here that I play as a 2 of are the 2 Twilight Rose Black Knight, because while you control a synchro monster, plant monster you control gain 1,000 attack. You can only use each of the following effects of Twilight Rose Black Knight once per turn. If this card is a normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 Black Rose Dragon or 1 level 4 lower plant monster from your graveyard but negates effects. You can target 1 other plant monster you control, increase or decrease its level by 1. So you're going to take that, and the next card that I'm going to show, the 3 Vengeful Witch. If you control a Black Rose Dragon, a monster that mentions it, or a plant synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard and a synchro monster is on the field, you can discard 1 card, special summon 1 plant monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except synchro monsters, so it synchro locks you. You can only use each effect of Vengeful Witch once per turn. So, the normal play is that you take one of the dragons, if you have the capability of getting out onto the board. We'll say Red Rose, and then you have Vengeful Witch in hand. You special summon Vengeful Witch, go for Synchro into Bramble Rose, trigger Red Rose to summon off either White Rose or Rocks Rose, being able to get you into the other component that you need, plus getting the Blooming of the Darkest or a Frozen Rose, if you're playing that. Then you can discard the Trap, which is Blooming of the Darkest Rose, to activate Vengeful Witch effect to special summon Twilight Rose Black Knight from the deck. This will then allow Twilight Rose Black Knight in a new chain to revive back the Vengeful Witch. So you can go into either another level 7 play, or you can go directly into a level 6 play or level 8 play, depending on how you want to go, because you can increase or decrease Vengeful Witch's level off of Twilight Rose Black Knight effect. So, while this card is very helpful, it does enable at least 2 Synchro Summons on the board. Next, I do play 3 Rose Princess. While this card doesn't look like it does much, it is great for going second, because if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If summoned this way, treat this card as a tuner. You can only special summon Rose Princess once returned this way. You can discard this card, add 1 White Rose Cloister from your deck to your hand, which, in all honesty, that effect does come up from time to time because we want to really get our Rose Dragons into our hand so we can further search, further do more combos, and along those lines. Also, with this in hand, if we see multiples of it, we can utilize 1 for the effect, and if we're going second, 1 for a summon. But there's still a lot of other capabilities in which you can use this card for. Up next, I do play 3 Cyclos, the Circular Sprite, and 3 Variant, the Circular Sorcerer. Cyclos has the fun effect of, if this card is no more special summon, you can discard 1 card, add 1 insect or plant tuner from your deck to your hand, except Cyclos the Circular Sprite. If an insect or plant synchro monster is special summon, while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Cyclos Circular Sprite once per turn. Next, we do have the 3 Variant, the Circular Sorcerer. If an insect or plant monster is in either graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon the Variant, the Circular Sorcerer, once per turn this way. If this card you control will be used as synchro material for an insect or plant monster, you could treat it as a non-tuner. So, being able to really work with that to where you have an extra extender either way, and one of them can even turn into a non-tuner, which you can heavily utilize, helps the deck a lot, because this furthers your plays and allows you further capability of really just going through the grind game and being able to synchro out level 7s, level 6s, even sometimes utilizing your level 5s to go into a level 8 if necessary. Or, if you're wanting to be more specific, you can go directly into a level 10 for the Ruddy Rose Dragon, which can help you out further. For the final 2 plant cards that I do play in this deck, that isn't part of the other package that is utilized with this deck, is Spore and Cactus Bouncer. Now, you're wondering, well, this deck seems a lot like a Genesys deck. That is correct. Cactus Bouncer is not on the actual points list, so it can be used as a floodgate because most of the plants in this deck are synchro monsters, or you're able to just summon a monster. If you get stopped, you can still summon the Cactus Bouncer, so you get the effect. So your opponent cannot special summon other monsters while another plant monster is on the field. But it also does lock you as well. The fun part of Spore is it's a card to send off to the graveyard off of the Rage Rose Witch effect. So you can then special summon it by banishing a card that you no longer can utilize in your graveyard. It gains those levels and you can use it as a tuner. But those are the 2 last plant cards I do play as simple one-ofs. Up next for the spells. For the Red Rose, Black Rose deck, I play 3 Black Rose Garden, because this new card, even though it's an Ultra, is very insane for the deck. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Rose Dragon monster from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. All face-up monsters on the field become plant monsters. If this card is destroyed, inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each plant monster in your graveyard and banishment. Then if this card was destroyed by the effect of Black Rose Dragon, inflict 2400 damage to your opponent. You can only use this effect of Black Rose Garden once per turn. You can only activate 1 Black Rose Garden per turn. So since it's a continuous spell, it makes everything plants, it helps out a lot with like, oh, well, how can I protect my stuff from Black Rose if it goes over, or if Black Rose effect triggers, or say, hey, somebody activates Raigeki or Torrential Tribute? This is where Synchro monsters come in handy later on, and I'll explain it much later. Next, of course, I'm playing the 3 Basil Rose Shoot. You can special summon 1 Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. If this set card is destroyed, you can target 1 of your Black Rose Dragon, or 1 monster that specifically lists in its card's text, that is banished or in your graveyard. Special summon it. You can only use each effect of Basil Rose Shoot once per turn. So outside of being a quick play monster reborn for Rose Dragons, it has the capability of allowing you to special summon them so you can trigger their effects off a lot easier. Next, we have the 1 White Rose Cloister, which can help you out greatly. If you control no monsters, you can special summon 1 Rose Dragon monster or 1 Plant monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of White Rose Cloister once per turn. During your draw phase, before you draw, you can declare 1 card type, monster, spell, or trap, reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is the declared type, apply this effect for the rest of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. Level 7 or higher Synchro monsters you control gain 1,000 attack. So on top of it being able to get you a Rose Dragon monster or a Plant monster to your board, you also can get 1,000 attack as a further bonus. Next, of course, the final trap of the Black Rose portion of the deck. I am playing 1 Blooming of the Darkest Rose. We don't really utilize the first effect that often because we don't really special summon Rose tokens, Plant, Dark, level 2, attack 800, defense 800, and defense position to either field, up to the combined number of cards in field zones and field spells in the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, this is the effect we're going to be utilizing a lot more, is allowing us to target 1 Black Rose Dragon or 1 Plant monster in our monster zone, banish it, and if you do, place this card on the bottom of the deck. During the next standby phase, return that banished monster to the field. You can only use this effect of Blooming the Darkest Rose once per turn. So if you want to avoid something being destroyed, or you know that something's going to be happening in general with the card that's on your board, you can banish it and then trigger the effect to summon it back to the board during your next standby, so you have some further extension, which can help you out greatly. So that's all I have for the actual Black Rose core of this deck. Well, what is the remainder of the deck? Well, I've already made 2 variants of this deck. One is with Therion, and the one I'm going to show you today is the Adventure package, where we're playing 3 Rite of Armistier, 1 Dracoback, 1 Fateful Adventure, 3 Water Enchantress of the Temple, and 1 Wandering Griffin Rider. This gives the deck a little bit more resilience, being able to set up a negate and further interact with your opponent in case you draw a brick or don't have the capability of really getting a level 4 monster on the field to really interact with your opponent. Rite of the Armistier allows you to special summon a level 4 token, which is a wonderful card in general because, yes, you can't utilize your normal summon that well, or the effects of normal summon monsters. This card really does just allow for further extension because you don't need to really use your normal summon most of the time for this deck. It's a great extension if you can, but you don't really have to. Water Enchantress is just a quick effect. Not a quick effect, but just an effect that we can utilize to banish this card from our hand or graveyard, add a Rite of Armistier from our deck to our hand. Then you can place 1 field spell that mentions Adventure token. We don't have to worry about that. But the main thing is it's a level 3 monster. We can utilize it to get us a Rite of Armistier. And then we have Wandering Griffin Rider during the main phase if you control no monsters or you control a Adventure token. Quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. When a card or effect is activated while you control an Adventure token, quick effect, you can shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So, giving us that capability of a further negation. Fateful Adventure lets us just basically search up for Dracoback or Wandering Griffin Rider or even the Enchantress. But we also have to discard a card or send a card from our hand to the graveyard after we add that monster. Then if a monster is normal special summon, we can take an equipped spell that mentions Adventure token, example Dracoback, add to our hand. Dracoback is just basically the capability of allowing us to bounce a card once it's equipped to a monster. While this card is equipped to a non-effect monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So it helps out greatly with the board control state on that as well. Finally, we have the extra deck. And if you guys haven't noticed, This is a Genesis deck, so I'm not running as many hand traps. The total point cost comes down to 50 points for this entire deck build so far. The extra deck, all the cards are 0 cost. So for the entire deck, you could play this at a 50-point cost limit, and it gets you amazing results. All right, so for the extra deck, I'm playing one Lycris Lily Reaper as a level 5 target. If a monster is sent from the field to your opponent's graveyard while this card is in your monster zone, even during the damage step, you can gain life points equal to one of those monsters' attack in their graveyard. If your opponent takes effect damage while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, send one monster from the field to the graveyard with attack less than or equal to the difference in your life points and your opponent's. So this can help get you stuff further in the grave, such as, I'm already forgetting the card. Vengeful Witch, or even one of the Rose Dragons that you want to revive off of, say, of Basil Rose Shoot. Next, I play the one Garden Rose Flora, because it functions as a level 5 quick synchro tuner during our opponent's turn, but it also allows us to target one card in the field zone, destroy it, then special summon to its controller's field one Rose token in attack position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn from the extra deck, except synchro monsters, so it does synchro lock you. That's perfectly fine. Then finally, for the last level 5, I play one Garden Rose Maiden. This card is insane because while we don't play a black garden, we do get to utilize the effect of in the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Rose Dragon monster or one Dragon Synchro monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So it can help you get back the Bramble Rose Dragon, a Red Rose Dragon, a White Rose Dragon, or just Black Rose or Ruddy Rose Dragon in general. So it can help out a lot. Next up, the main card that I was going to bring up anyways, which is a new release from Doom and Dimensions. I love this card. It has so many capabilities of making this deck so wonderfully great. Rage Rose Witch, a level 6 dark plant synchro monster. Plant monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. So no Raigeki, no Torrential Tribute, no Black Rose Dragon effect. You can just nuke your opponent's board and still keep your plant monsters. You can only use each of the following effects of Rage Rose Witch once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can send up to one plant monster from your deck and extra deck to the graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except synchro monsters. If a card on the field is destroyed by a card effect while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. So later on, if you Black Rose or if they Raigeki you and this card's in the graveyard, you can revive it as a response after the whole chain is resolved, which can help out greatly. Next, I have one Circle of the Fairies. During your main phase, you can normal summon one insect or plant monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. When a monster is destroyed by battle involving your insect or plant monster and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of those destroyed monsters, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its attack, then gain life points equal to the damage inflicted to your opponent. So while being able to do some more burn damage, you're able to get an additional normal summon and gain some life points. Next, we have one Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. If this card is special summon or a level 5 or higher monster special summon to your opponent's field, target one special summon monster your opponent controls, return that target to hand. So that can help out a lot as well because it gives you a free bounce if you can't beat over it or target the card. Usually, well, it does target, but still, if it's something that can't be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can still bounce it with Moonlight. Of course, to the OG Black Rose. When this card is synchro summoned, you can destroy all cards on the field. Once per turn, you can banish one plant monster from your graveyard, target one defense position monster your opponent controls, change that target to face-up attack position. And if you do, its attack becomes 0 until the end of this turn. It's great because you can get over some bigger bodies, you can be able to nuke board, get around a lot of stuff. Another new addition from Doom is 2 Bramble Rose Dragon. If I had the capability of getting a third, I would. It requires one plant tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. Each time your opponent activates a monster effect, inflict 600 damage to your opponent. And if you do, all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 600 attack. You can only use each of the following effects of Bramble Rose Dragon once per turn. During the main phase, you contribute this card, special summon one Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck. This card is treated as a synchro summon. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one level 4 or lower plant tuner from your graveyard. So you can even utilize it for recovery on the back end, but also being able to use it as further extension and burn damage to your opponent while lowering their attacks, making it harder for them to beat over your monsters. Finally, for the last two synchros, I'm playing one Ruddy Rose Dragon and one Arms of Genesys Return 0. This card is insane because when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you banish one monster from your graveyard with the same attribute, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that monster. You can banish each attribute once per turn to activate the effect of Arms of Genesys Return 0 once per turn. Once per turn, you can target up to 6 of your Genesys monsters with different attributes that are banished and or in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, then you can destroy that many cards in your spell and trap zones. We don't utilize that effect, but we do use the effect of the negation, which can further help your plays. Ruddy Rose Dragon is still amazing because this card is Synchro Summon. You banish all cards from the graveyard, which can really hurt the grind game for most decks nowadays. If this card was Synchro Summon using Black Rose Dragon or a Plant Synchro monster as material, which in 90% chance you're going to be utilizing that, and if you have Black Rose Garden, all your monsters become plants anyways, you can destroy all their cards on the field. When your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy a card or cards, quick effect, you tribute this card, negate the activation. If you do, special summon one Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard. So this gives you free capability of getting another board wipe after the board wipe. While having a 3200 attack point monster helps greatly, being able to boost it by an additional 1000 can really help put it over the edge. Well, that's only 13 cards, so what is the last few cards? I'm playing 2 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon because you're looking to really burn with these. Even if you have monsters for next turn, you can either swing out for damage and then overlay, since you're not going to be synchro locked on your following turn, if you want and you still have monsters on board, you can utilize 2 of your level 7s and go into Red Eyes Flare Metal. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has material. While this card has a material, each time your opponent activates a card or effect, inflict 500 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. So that means spell, trap, monster, any kind of effect. Once per turn, quick effect, you detach one material from this card, target one Red Eyes normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. We're not utilizing Red Eyes, so we don't have to worry. But if you wanted to cut down and add a Crystal Wing, you could run just one Red Eyes Flare Metal, or you could just up another Synchro monster. You could just cut these entirely, run additional Garden Rose Maiden, and a Crystal Wing, giving you the free capability of setting up an extra negation and another recovery if you need to. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for today's deck. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.
Is it okay if I'm to say I'm catching feelings from all the dealings? Am I astray? What do you say? How are you feeling? Is it the same?